My real name is Pablo del Bosco from Argentina. Everybody knows me as PoLee, and that's the way I got involved with music here. It all started like in 2005, a couple of years ago. I already knew some of the people working for music, as some of them have been in South America already. In 2005, when I got back home, we started trying to work developing something in Buenos Aires, which is the city I live. As there were previous events in Chile and Mexico that happened before, I was really like, in terms of like Buenos Aires is a big city, so there was a big potential to develop something with Mintech there. So I started to try and make links, and well, it just all started to happen from a Pan American tour called Mutech Pan Am that was in December 2005. The tour went to Mexico, Colombia, Brazil, Chile, and the last gig was Argentina with a micro music. I've been working in Buenos Aires as a journalist, as a producer, events producer as well. I've been also had my radio show. I've been working in different media, television, radio. I've been the editor of a magazine for a couple of years as well. And through everything I've been doing there, I've always had this. I've also been a DJ for many years. So at some point I wanted to try and help develop a context for artists in Argentina, which was all I learned throughout all my experiences working in the media. Music for us, it's like kind of an umbrella where we can put all our local developments and try and build a local scene for that as well. So the way we are trying to make things little by little, it's trying to work as a network with all the other developments in Latin America. And that led us to have a mini festival last year in December in Buenos Aires. And well, now we have the intention to make a couple of micro music nights from here till the end of the year. We already made one in March with the Wainami Brothers, just like a preview from what was going to happen here, and we also had some other local artists performing more experimental stuff, and also we did a nice sort of visual projection with two artists projecting in like 10 different surfaces on the same time, so it was kind of interesting. And well, our intention is to kind of try and do the festival again in the first semester of 2008. As we are in terms of developing the artistic, digital, electronic, experimental scene, or whatever you want to call that. We also think with our friends in Mutech Latin America that we need to widen a little bit the artistic approach as well, like mixing more eclectic stuff, not only sticking to electronic music, but trying to make that interact with other styles and genres, which is something that we definitely need. And of course, I mean, the festival has to evolve itself, and that's a good thing that the festival in the different cities has its own personality as well. So that enriches the whole project, because then again, things from here go there, and you can take like different ideas, examples, whatever. New tech in some way, for me, it's like a way of trying to help and building this thing. Hopefully someday there will be some more local events going on or whatever, but at this point I think it has to help the scene develop and be used as a link. Sometimes you can think of this like there's also like Sonar Festival going on in Buenos Aires as well, but I see all this Greenfield, Sonar, everything more like brands, and even though Mutech could be a brand or could work as a brand, to me it's more about a platform. So that's the way at least I see it, and I want to try to make it work in Buenos Aires, related with all the with Brazil and Chile and all the networking system. We have, as I told you a little bit, digital art. There is mostly the digital art is not that well developed. First of all, because of technology, which is something that has to do with local context. So technology is pretty hard to access for all the people. I mean, it's not something like electronic goods and are really expensive. Also, we have our pesos devaluated from dollars, so it becomes more and more expensive. Anyway, people can buy. I mean, even if it's more difficult, you can go and get the stuff. But that's kind of something that doesn't help too much in terms of developing things. Anyway, that also provokes a more creativity in terms of people have to find out to do things with whatever they and that's very interesting because that's how you can come across with really interesting stuff and works. To me, it's really exciting to be here in Montreal each year, try and see a lot of the artists. Sometimes I wish I could take more of them or make this more, but of course we have to stick to our local possibilities and make these things go little by little. Last night I loved some of the shows I saw, but definitely it would be pretty difficult to show that to an audience when you don't have the context prepared, when it's not ready for that kind of shows. I mean, sometimes that's what becomes tricky, because you want to show people something which you find absolutely fresh and innovating, but then you don't know how people will react, and so that's why I think it's a very important work to do to prepare the terrain first, and then start landing with some different proposals or whatever. And but yeah, to me it's really important to have the chance and come every year so that I can keep my mind linked and fresh with all what's happening, and also because that helps us with all our Latin American friends, and that we've been talking about all these things. It helps us find a better way to introduce all this stuff to our cities, countries, and